Hello. Whoa, there we go. Howdy. Welcome to another edition of On Tap. And on tap, we're going to have a lot of sports news to get into. A couple of things really I wanted to get into. Mostly it's a smorgasbord of everything, but it's mostly this week. It's mostly baseball. A lot of baseball stuff. We're in the free agency period, so a lot of comings and goings as far as free agency news that I was not able to get to during the week. Also a question of when will baseball start? Will it start on time? Couple of players retiring, couple of signings. Super Bowl is also this coming week. UFC coming off of on the heels of what was a week where you had Conor McGregor, the untouchable Conor McGregor, going down. So a lot as far as UFC as well to talk about. A lot to get into. We're going to try to keep it in a nice flow and get things started with, I think, really something that is no shock, I think, if we've been following baseball the last couple of years, and that is the Major League Baseball, players union and the actual owners. They could, never come to any form of agreement. Like, listen, they have a history of hating each other. Remember back in '94, there was no baseball season, so it's millionaires fighting against millionaires. But Major League Baseball issued a 154 game proposal to the players, and that was rejected. It's players and owners just arguing over dollars, right? Owners deserve to make money if possible. Players make more than they'll ever spend for a game they love, supposedly, but want more while trying to sound connected to the blue collar fan. And I think there's a disconnect between baseball players, the fans. Again, and I've said this numerous times before in prior videos, where if you had Mike Trout walking down the street, who's arguably one of, if not the best players in the game right now, 9 out of 10 people would have no idea as to who Mike Trout is, because baseball does not do the players right in as far as marketing them. But they make a ton of money. But are not not advertised. No one knows who Mike Trout is. But that really is not what the whole point here. That's just one of the problems that baseball has. Not to mention the constant back and forth bickering between owners and players. But listen, I guess maybe every sport has that. Listen, and as far as this whole thing here, I think 154 is inevitable. But the proposal did not make any sense. If you read the proposal, look into it, every nook and cranny and detail in it. Push the season back. You're losing out on at least 20 games, dates. Extending the season gives you 7. Cutting 8 games entirely just means you have anywhere from 8 to 15 games to make up, during the course of the season. That means one of two things. Fewer off days, which could lead to more injuries or more scheduled weekend 7 inning doubleheaders, which that's something for your, if we already are up in arms about DH in the National League, by the way, that's something that's even proposed now is having 7 inning games as opposed to 9 when you have, so again, so many changes in baseball and it's just, problem after problem. Or is it just, we love this game so much that, we don't want to see the change happen. But nonetheless, also you get expanded playoffs in this proposal, and and I think the Players Association should reject the offer, which they did. Major League Baseball too. Remember, this is also banking on most fans only seeing this on the surface, or just reading the headline and then banding together to back Major League Baseball and pressure the players' union to accept it. Not to mention that once things are back to normal, hopefully, cross your fingers in the next 12 to 18 months, and you hope that fans are allowed back in the stands. Do they really think that the owners are going to give up that 8 games of revenue? Heck no. If anything, they will want a 162 game season plus expanded playoffs by 2022. Show me the money. 2023, at the latest, and they will want that all in the new CBA. It's just a disaster. A disaster, and something that you always cringe whenever there is a conflict of interest between Major League Baseball, Players Union, so on and so forth. And you just can't put another 8 games into schedule. 8 games isn't going to make that big of a difference, you might say. But listen, it does. It does in a sense if they are planning on shortening the season and utilizing doubleheaders. But again, you might come back to me and say, listen, if they shorten the season, make it more. 8 games is just, you might think it's nonsense. The commissioner has been ruining baseball for the last few years. If they can't get in 8 more games, then players should vote no. League really can't use the virus because they learned what to do from the last year as far as playing out these games and protocols and everything that might come with it. Listen, the commissioner, whatever the situation, the scenario is, baseball is in a lot of trouble. This is just a small little bump in the road. I'm sure they're going to figure it out. I'm sure we're going to have our baseball here. And, and what it was agreed upon is that you will have, opening as far as the camps in about 2 weeks from now. So, disaster avoided, disaster pending, doom pending, you never know. Again, you just always cringe whenever it comes to baseball and owners, players, and I guess you could say that for every sport. But going forward with a 162 game season, Dustin Pedroia also announced this past week. Why do I say also? Announced his retirement this past week. A former Boston Red Sox, number 15, a guy that played his whole entire career there in Boston. When I think of Dustin Pedroia, I think about a guy here locally that played in New York, a guy by the name of David Wright, right? In the sense of there were obviously two different players, right? Everything that you could think of, stature, Dustin Pedroia was a short guy, but David Wright was a taller guy. But why I think of them is these guys were, I think, on the way to having, at least based on their coming up in the scouting report and their hype. And for some years before the injuries set in, they were putting Hall of Fame type numbers up, and then injury derailed them. And Dustin Pedroia, like David Wright here locally, we're trying to come back. Unfortunately, for Dustin Pedroia, he wasn't able to end his career on his own terms, right? And a lot of the times, you're not able to do that. It's Father Time really sets the precedent as to when it's your time to retire. David Wright, had a chance to kind of write his story. He came back, but let's be honest, was really, at a point even too was dealing with spinal stenosis. So that's really back. Everything was messed up, but he was able to end his own career on his terms. And David Wright, obviously just a shell of his former self. But he was on top. He was on top and putting in those stats early on. Same thing for Dustin Pedroia, especially for a second baseman. Remember him, in the leadoff position there for many years against the Yankees, and in the AL East was just a guy that would constantly get on base. And his career kind of derailed when he got into last time when he got into a collision with Dustin Pedroia. And I want to show you. It looked like it was a dirty play. A little back and forth there. Was it a dirty play? Was it a hard-nosed baseball play? You could be the judge. Let's. I'm looking at the clip here. Let's find it here. Wait, hold on a second. Let's see.
As Trumbo becomes the runner at first, Trumbo. Here comes Bogarts, has to wait on it a bit, gets the certain out. Pedroia taken out. Machado is done, but Pedroia a little shaken up on the play as Trumbo becomes the runner at first base. And did Pedroia get spiked?
Now, there's the slide. He makes contact, but then he comes up and over the back. Looks like he did get spiked in the back of the leg.
And he's going to come out of the game.
And that was essentially the last time you've seen Dustin Pedroia out on the field, essentially ending his career. Now, Dustin Pedroia, when you look at it for a second baseman, in the numbers were, again, impressive. Is he a Hall of Famer? Listen, at Cooperstown, some of you guys might be saying Cooperstown. You might be saying, listen, you know that the numbers don't necessarily support it. But listen, as we've seen recently, numbers aren't really all that matter. If players like, let's say, Bonds and Clemens can be held out with an all-time record numbers, why can't a guy like Dustin Pedroia, who played at such an unreal level and always played the right way 100% of the time, be in the conversation? Listen, fact of the matter is right now, the Hall of Fame has turned into not the excellent elite Hall of Fame. It's turned into the okay, average, good Hall of Fame. Ultimately, me, if I was a writer, there's no chance, zero chance that he gets in. He's going to get votes. Definitely he will get votes. Enough of them. But maybe it won't be enough to get in. But the more that people compare him to his contemporaries, the better he looks, be honestly. Just the way the Hall of Fame is going right now. Possibility that he gets into the Hall of Fame, the Veterans Committee. Listen, this is what I mean by that. And look, his numbers aren't Hall of Fame numbers, ultimately. But I could see it being that this is like the new wave of what's going on as far as the Hall of Fame goes. Voters are really looking at much more than numbers now. If the all-time season and career home run leader will not be in, whether you believe it or not, they do hold the record, officially stands. The numbers obviously aren't all that matter. If you're the heart and soul of an organization, win 3 World Series, and play off the charts defense, which Pedroia did, and offense for the better part of a decade straight, then maybe that should deserve consideration. Who knows? This is the new age. Remember, it's the writers voting you in. All I'm saying, he could very well be in the conversation. Very well. Ultimately, again, he's not even close to Hall of Fame numbers, just based on numbers. If he had stayed healthy, played in the league 18 to 20 years, he would be in the conversation. Compare his numbers, let's say, to Kemp, who will likely also not be in the Hall. I don't think you're going to see him in the Hall of Fame either. What an uphill battle that is for a guy like Kemp. Great career, too, in Matt Kemp, just cut short by injuries. And unfortunately for Pedroia, he is not the first player to be derailed. Pedroia, though, I think will definitely make, when it comes to Hall of Fame, he will definitely make the Red Sox Hall of Fame without question. Without question. Speaking, keeping on to the Red Sox here. Red Sox made a small move. Kike Hernandez, infield outfielder, 2-year contract through the 2022 season. A lot of people forget, as far as Kike Hernandez goes, that while, yes, he was mostly utility, when given the chance to play consistently, he has, I think, 15 to 20 home run potential. $15 to 20 home runs easily. I think he will get the chance at everyday second base. With the situation that the Red Sox are in until Downs is ready. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some single season career highs, quite honestly, while in a Sox uniform. 240 career hitter, okay, as a utility player. You might say to yourself, okay, in the negative side of you, it's a good pickup, okay? This team, this guy Kike Hernandez could spot some positions, for you when players need rest. I think this could be your, quote unquote, next. He could be your next Brock Holt, honestly. And that's a good thing. Super. Having a super utility player. Staying on to baseball, and just really something that I just shake my head at. Mick Callaway. Mickey Callaway, just allegations coming across his way, and now he is being investigated, as he rightfully should, by baseball. And the teams have he has since been suspended by the Angels. The Mets have also come out with a statement as well. And this is, these allegations against him are not just from one person. They're actually from a couple of people. And you really just shake your head. As to, hey, first of all, what goes through a person's mind like this? Like, when you send something like this, like, it never works out where never works out where the recipient says, all right, this is a great thing, thank you so much. Like in the case of Jared Porter, the former Mets GM, who was a Met GM for about what seemed like 5 hours, right? So this dude in Jared Porter, 60 some odd text messages he would send at one point, that just constant text messages. Just continued to send. After he got no answer, he would continue to send this text message for 60 some odd times. Like, like, do you think that someone would, like, did he think someone would answer after the 60th time? That, and put that aside here. Now, again, I am not blaming the Mets here, but this is the second time that, like, something like this has happened. For Met guys. The Mets apparently, here's the question that I gotta ask. Okay, when it comes to guys like Jared Porter and Mickey Callaway, like, I know, like, when I go to apply for a job and I accept a job opportunity, a job offer, the credit checks, the reference checks, Social Security checks, you are pretty much, when you are applying for a job and you want to take that job, you're pretty much going through everything imaginable to contact your references to get that job before they will actually give you an offer. Now, obviously, I know baseball is a different scenario, but with technology the way it is in this day and age, you would think that the hiring process for a candidate would be very rigorous, and it would go through a lot of back-checking, backlog, so on and so forth. So how could something like this go through? Are you doing enough research? Or is this simply a case where the Mets really had no idea? The question really comes down to, how rigorous is your hiring process? What's HR doing in Metland? Are you maybe not checking social media, or you're not checking references? Are you not doing your character research? And I don't know. It just seems that the last two instances, which have been huge, have been coming up, Met related, and the Mets just cannot get out of their own way. Mets being the Mets. Factor that in with the owner of the Mets, Steve Cohen, there, and what happened with GameStop and the stock. Sending out a tweet, did Mr. Cohen, that did not really project himself to be the most humble, so to speak. So, here we are, in coming, in this round circle here. The Mets just, who's in charge of hiring? Is this just some weird coincidence, or in baseball in general, do we need to, go about, as far as hiring, kind of change things up that way? these individuals are not being rewarded with high-paying jobs. They shouldn't be. And I understand you're going to say people pay debts to society and they deserve a second chance. Fine, but they haven't paid their debts to society, haven't gotten help, haven't gotten counseling, whatever it is, and here they are being rewarded with high-income jobs. So, there's just a question of who exactly is in charge of HR in Metland, or is this just something that needs to be changed in Major League Baseball altogether? Sticking to baseball, we had another individual there that recently retired. And, being from the New York area, I would have told you that this guy, come after the 2015 season, should have been re-signed by the Mets. Really, and he wasn't. 12-year career. He was a National League Championship Series MVP. 12-year career, never really was the best defensively. He would probably be best suited playing a DH. But, Daniel Murphy retiring. Best year was in 2011. He hit 320, his stats line, 320, 362, 448, and 423 trips to the plate. His offense after 2011 kind of took a step backwards, so to speak. But he was an above-average contributor. He, at that point, was playing multiple positions. But take you back into the 2015 season, as the Mets were kind of driving to the postseason. Murphy, that's when he took his game to new heights, just exploded. He slugged 10 home runs after the All-Star break. Was hitting 285, 318, 500 through 280 plate appearances. But the best was really saved for last in a postseason run. That, brought the Mets onto the brink of a championship, but the Mets being the Mets, well, we know what happened. They failed. Didn't pull it all together. He's 30 years old at that point. Dude was rocking and rolling in October. So he appeared in all the 14 of the Mets games. Back then in October, Mr. October, Reggie Jackson, who? Combined 328, 391, 724 batting line, which was insane. 7 home runs, pair of doubles, 13 runs, knocked in 11. Murphy, too, remember this in that 2015 run. Belted in. Yeah, he homered in 6 consecutive playoff games, including it was at that point it was a go-ahead 6-inning shot off of Zach Greinke in decisive Game 5 of the NLDS, and won in all 4 games of the Mets NLCS sweep of the Cubs. And what happened after that? Murphy got a deal. Not with the Mets, but with the Nationals. And he came back and actually whipped the Mets behind. Hold on here as we need to plug in. So, he parlayed that. Hello, Mets, where were you? 2015. Nah, did not sign with that. He instead went with the Nationals. 2016, he had his first year with the Nats. He hit 347, 390, 595, en route to a second place finish in the National League MVP voting. He hit 329, 380, 550 in his 2.5 seasons with the Nationals before he was traded to the Cubs, and continuing to rake, more than justifying the $37.5 million of his contract. So from there, Murphy went on to, to kind of be the Rockies' first baseman. But that's when the injuries kind of started. You know, and I never really, fractured finger, and then kind of snowballed after there. 3-time All-Stars Murphy. 2-time Silver Slugger. Second place MVP finish as well. Combined 296, 341, 455, 1572 hits, 178 home runs. Blah, 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 blah. Decent career. And, good career. Good career. When he was with the Nationals, Met Killer. But, the some of the bitter Met fans will say, you want to personally thank Murphy for his error in Game 4 of the 2015 World Series. The Royals probably would have won anyway, but he gladly accepted, but the Royals gladly accepted the charity. But holy cow, did he destroy the Cubs in the NLCS. Good career for Daniel Murphy, and you wish him all the best. And I thank you for taking the time to look at this video, guys. Do subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. And we talk sports here. We talk some UFC as well. So it's a good time on this channel. So, Super Bowl is coming. Oh, is it coming? And it's been a different Super Bowl, and obviously because because of COVID. That I know. You really don't hear. You don't hear too many stories coming out of this week. It's a quiet week. It's a quiet week. And remember, too, they are actually they're actually playing in Tampa. I'm sorry, I was losing my train of thought there. Playing in Tampa, Tampa Bay. Um, Tampa Bay going, against the Chiefs. So where do you begin? Just want to give you maybe my preview there. Um, Nothing is going to be normal about the Super Bowl. Yeah, like I mentioned, the Buccaneers are the first team to even play at home. The Chiefs are staying in Kansas City until the day before the game. So how weird is that? This game marks the 14th time in Super Bowl history that you're going to be getting a rematch from the regular season. And if the first 13 games are any indication, the Chiefs could be in trouble. Back in Week 12, the Chiefs beat the Buccaneers 27-24, which is notable because the team that won the regular season game has gone 6-7 in the Super Bowl rematch. Also, no AFC team has ever beaten an NFC team twice in one season. So what exactly is going to start in this game? What do I think is going to happen in this game? Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady. Is this the Super Bowl that everyone wanted to see? I wanted to see Tua in the Super Bowl. I'm a Dolphin fan, just being honest with you. Sure, rooting for Brady to get to the Super Bowl is like rooting for a billionaire to get richer, or rooting for a hedge fund to win a short selling battle against everyone on Reddit. Mets. You definitely don't feel good about yourself rooting that way, right? But here we are. We're seeing Brady. We're seeing Mahomes. There we are. Two electric, quarterbacks. Brady Mahomes has kind of what turned into kind of like the Fast and Furious series. And when these two guys go at it, it's an awesome time. This Super Bowl will mark the fifth time that Brady and Mahomes have met on the field. Kind of fitting, since the best Fast and Furious movie was Fast Five, right? Makes you wonder. Okay, but not only in this series between Brady and Mahomes, tied 2-2, but they've almost tied in the scoring department too, as Mahomes and the Chiefs have outscored Brady's team 121-120. News that you probably already heard at least 7,000 times, honestly. The Buccaneers will be making NFL history when they become the first team ever to play in a Super Bowl in their home stadium, which might not be a good thing. I mean, the last time a team hosted a Super Bowl, their quarterback and mascot got kidnapped. Yeah, that's a weird thing. Although playing at home, it could be an advantage. Maybe it could not be an advantage at home and not. Buccaneers are smart. They should be on the phone right now trying to get this game moved. Also, if they don't, if they do get the game moved, they should probably push for it to be played in Kansas City because that's the only place where really Pat Mahomes seems to be beatable. The man is basically unstoppable in road games and the Super Bowl qualities as a road game. Over the course of his career, Mahomes 21-4 on the road. If you want to stop Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, you have to be able to stop the pass, which isn't great news for the Bucs because their defense struggled with one thing this year. It's stopping the pass. Stopping the pass. The Chiefs had to witness that with Tyreek Hill. So I think, the game is going to come close. I think it's going to be actually a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be 24-17. That will do it, guys. Couple of things here I wanted to touch. My Super Bowl prediction. I hope all is well, guys. Until next time.